Very excited to have my next guest on the show. It's Isaac Dulgarian, who will be back in action March the 16th at UFC Vegas 88 when he takes on Christian Rodriguez. Isaac, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. Super blessed, super healthy. Everything's going good so far this camp. So just really grateful for what's going on.
Well, we're excited to see you back in action. August was when you made your UFC debut. One heck of a performance, man. Another fight, another win. Did you want to have this much time off? Because I figured maybe we see you back in the octagon before, here coming in March.
Yeah, no, I wanted to fight in August, and then I wanted to have another one before the end of 2023, whether it's November or December. I just never got a call, so that's just how it goes right now. And so hopefully we'll rattle this one off and get a couple more in this year. So hopefully, I'm hoping for about 3 fights this year, and just keep growing, keep gaining more experience, and then eventually we'll work our way up into the rankings.
How frustrating is that when you're ready to perform, you're ready to get in there and get another fight on the big stage, and you're just playing that waiting game, waiting for them to decide when, you're going to have your next fight?
Well, I mean, for me, it's not a huge deal because I'm still young in the game. I have 6 professional fights right now, and so it's not a big deal. So I'm getting better every day I train. So the more time you give me, the better I'm going to be. So that's really all there is to that. I don't know. I don't really put too much on it. It just the only thing that sucks about it is the monetary loss when
Hmm.
I don't compete because obviously I only get paid when I fight. So that's the biggest thing. Other than that, if I was in a financially stable situation, then it wouldn't really bother me at all.
What do you do to generate income when you're not fighting? Do you do anything on the side? Are you coaching? Do you do training sessions or anything like that?
Yeah. I do some training sessions. I was out here at Factory X as a wrestling coach, but I kind of had to retire that position because I got my daughter being born here in a few weeks, and I'm going to be back in Kansas City after my fight. So I teach a lot of that, and then I also drive Uber every once in a while just to make some extra money for food and stuff, but nothing crazy.
Okay. Do you ever get recognized? Like, have you picked anyone up and they're like, oh, snap, you're in the UFC?
Yeah, I've had a couple. I've had a couple that were surprised, or either that, or they'll see my ears and wonder what the hell's going on.
Yeah, that's
They're
a
like, I
that's
don't
the
know if I
first sign.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know if I just jumped in a car with the serial killer or what, but that guy looks kind of crazy.
That's usually the sign though, like of a good, stable man, someone that works hard and trains, right? Like that's usually what I think. Someone that actually chooses controlled violence to be a better human being rather than going out getting into street fights.
Definitely. I actually have a funny story about my ears. I had to go to my physical the other day for my fight, and the doctor that came in is at some random urgent care. I don't remember where, but the doctor that came in, she was asking me about my ears. She's looking at it. She looked at my ears, and then she was like, "Do you have a history of blood clots in your ear?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, I was so confused. She was like, "Your ear, what's wrong with it?" And I was like, "Oh, it's just cauliflower. It's not a big deal. It's just how it is." It was caught her completely off guard. I was like, "I don't even think you can get blood clots in your ear, to be honest. That's kind of crazy."
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. That's that, and that was a provider. That was someone that you went into for a physical, and they said that.
Yeah, yeah, it was bad. It was all bad. I don't know. They set it up for me. I just go get my medicals done, and that's the lady I got. So I was like, "Oh my goodness."
Okay, well, I'll digress. I won't keep harping on that subject, but very, very interesting. I wanted to ask too, like obviously busy man, you train full time, family, child on the way. Do you have any hobbies outside of MMA? Anything you like to do to just kind of like reset your mind and just something enjoyable that you like to do as a hobby?
Yeah, anything that causes adrenaline, I'm with it. I like to ride dirt bikes and jet skis and stuff when I'm not in fight camp. Eventually, once I get a little bit deeper into my career, once I'm more of a vet, I'd like to start trying bull riding out a little bit. I'm a Kansas boy, and I've been around cattle my whole life, so I think that would be fun. Yeah, anything that really involves adrenaline, I'm with it. I got 2 huskies. I take them out in the woods all the time. Do a lot of hiking, do a lot of camping, stuff like that.
Okay. Have you ever been skydiving?
I haven't yet, but I don't want to. The only place I had the opportunity to skydive was when I was living in Kansas City, and I didn't want to skydive over a plane. If I'm doing it, I want to do it somewhere beautiful.
Okay. What do you have an idea of where that may be?
somewhere overseas. That'd be amazing.
All right. And that's something I've always wanted to do. I haven't mustered up the courage to do it just yet, but there's still plenty of time. I've always heard that it's just an adrenaline rush like you can't even imagine.
Oh, I would love it. I've always wanted to. The other thing is you have to have a certain amount of skydives before you can go solo, and I want to go solo. I don't want to have some dude strapped to my back and pull the damn cord for me. I want to do it myself. Whether that's more dangerous or not, that's fine. I don't really care. I'd maybe do it once with a person, and then we'll jump out at the same time. I don't really care. I just don't want to be strapped to you. That takes out all the fun.
Understood. Can you tell me, is there anything that you've done outside of the cage that compares adrenaline wise to what it's like when you're making that walk, when you get into the octagon? I know you've only had one UFC fight, but can you compare anything to what that feeling was like pre-fight?
Yeah, when I was growing up, I used to race a lot of motocross, and it's kind of the same adrenaline you get. Because you're at a line at a starting gate with like 40, 50 different people, and they all have their bikes revving up, and they drop that gate, and you're all going into a tight corner and trying to get that whole shot, be the first one out of the corner. So you get a lot of adrenaline. You get the bikes and all these people that want to win, and then not only that, just the race itself is pretty similar.
All right. I can imagine. I haven't done that either, but I'll just take your word for it. I don't see myself doing that anytime in the near future. Let's transition and talk about, your debut. Again, that was in August. Huge, huge win over Francis Marshall. 6 fights, 6 finishes. You just keep looking better and better. How would you assess that performance looking back at it now? What would you rate it at a 1 to 10?
Oh, this is a 10 out of 10 performance, you know. I made a couple small mistakes, but nothing really crazy. I kind of shot from the open a little bit. Didn't really like that when I watched the film. But, if it works, it works. And that's all that matters in MMA. I love the performance. Couldn't be happier with it. I got out of it healthy, which in an MMA fight is just a blessing in itself, you know. So no injuries. I've always wanted, like, just to get a win in the UFC, is crazy, and then to get a UFC debut like that is another story completely. So I'm very happy with that performance.
What do you think that win did for you as far as like a statement in the division? Do you think you really put a lot of guys on notice that, hey, this is someone, a young guy that we really need to pay attention to?
Oh, definitely, 100%. Because Francis isn't a slouch by any means. He's got good grappling. He knocked out one of my old teammates, Marcelo Rojo. But there's levels to this game, and especially the grappling game. And when I got on top of him, I could feel that he knew what he was doing, but also, like I said, there's levels, and I just shut everything down on him and found my damage, which is what I'm good at. Cause damage in a short period of time, and that's exactly what happened. I gave him about a whole fight's worth of damage in less than 5 minutes. So that's how it goes.
Signature win, man. What is the weight cut for you like to get down to 145?
It's easy, no problems. I'll never have a problem making 145. Uh, yeah, I'm healthy. That's why I fight at 45, man, because I can make 35. It's just not real. I know it's not healthy, and I've been cutting weight since I was a 12-year-old. So I'm 27 now. That's a lot of weight cuts, and it's just not healthy on your body. And I wish a lot of people wouldn't cut as much weight, because there's guys that walk around at 180 that. Fight at 145. And I'm like, dude, that is so crazy. Like, just fight what you weigh, dude. Like, or at least close to it. Fight
Yeah.
at 50. It's crazy. But yeah, I think if everyone did that, it'd be great for the sport too. You'd get better fights. Everyone would be healthy, which is a number one thing. When we're done fighting, we have to be healthy. If we have a lot of issues with our organs or kidneys or whatever from cutting weight, for our whole career, that's a big problem, and it's going to cost a lot more than you make fighting to repair that.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you clearly have the experience with the weight cutting because of the wrestling background. My father was a very accomplished high school wrestler himself, and he always told me that, the most important discipline in combat sports and mixed martial arts is wrestling. Like that's where you can take the fight. Even if you're in a bad spot, you can change where the fight is. If it's on the feet, you can take it to the ground. Do you agree with that? And how do you think that your wrestling skill set is going to help you as you continue to evolve here in your pro career?
Yeah, I agree 100%. Wrestling kind of dominates the sport, especially if you have good striking skills as well, and you can kind of blend them all together. That's a big thing. As for me, my wrestling style isn't necessarily only wrestling. Like, you see a lot of these like D1 wrestlers coming in, and they just grab and hold, and they turn the fight into a wrestling match. I'm more of an MMA wrestler. I can dominate fights, and it's a lot like Khabib style. I'm able to cause damage and find finishes, and it's not necessarily a boring fight ever.
And this division, I swear, it may be the deepest in the whole UFC. I know lightweight's amazing, but featherweight, there's so many great fighters in there. We have a new champion now. Volkanovski lost the belt. Ilya Taporia is now the featherweight champ. Were you surprised by that? Did you expect him to win?
Uh, I thought that I didn't think Volk would get knocked out like that necessarily. I knew it was definitely possible because Ilya's made it this far, basically only using boxing. I mean, he's got takedowns every once in a while, a couple finishes on the ground, but a lot of his fights are just boxing, and he has a good grappling base as well. So, no surprise, really. I just thought it would be a little more competitive, I guess.
Yeah, I have to imagine they're going to give him a rematch. If it's not an immediate rematch, it has to be at some point later this year. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Volk at least deserves the respect. He's a reigning champion for a long time, and I think a second fight would be great. He's fought up at 55 before, and everything, so he's a great champion. But also he's getting older, so it's time for us new guys to step up and make a name for ourselves. A lot of those guys at 45, they're going to be out here in the next few years, and so it's about time we get some new up and comers in the division.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. Let's transition here to talk about camp and your upcoming fight. Obviously, at one of the best gyms in the world, Factory X. I love the guys at your camp, man. I've interviewed a bunch of you guys, and you're obviously you're great fighters, but also good people. What is it like? What does the feel like being there with the high level caliber training partners that you have, but also just the people that are around you?
Oh man, it's great. It reminds me a lot of my old gym at Glory. They're kind of an affiliate gym, somewhat, some type of way. But there's great people all around. It's more of like a family type gym. It's a family owned gym. Mark Montoya opened this gym by himself. So he doesn't have any giant backers like ATT and some of these other gyms have. So we all work with each other. We all make each other better, and that's the biggest thing. There's no like separate practices. Like we train at a specific time every day, and then if you want extra work, you can get that, no problem. But we have a team practice every day, and that's where we get a lot of our work in.
Who are the main training partners here to help you get you ready for Christian? I have to imagine maybe Yusuf Zalal, Martinez, El Guapo, are those kind of like the main guys?
Yep, exactly. Yusuf Law. I train with him every single day because our styles are so contrasting that we're both making huge gains. Because he's more of a striker jujitsu, and I'm more of a like wrestling style. And so he's done numbers with my striking, helped me out so much. Yeah, Martinez, he's down in Texas at his gym right now. I think he hurt his knee a little bit or something. So I haven't got to train with him this camp. But El Guapo, David Onama, Markel Maderos, and then yeah, basically everybody else here. I get the work in no matter what.
Yusuf has to be back in the UFC soon, right? Like we're going to see him back there this year.
Oh, he'll have some big news coming soon, for sure, 100%. He belongs there, 100%. He's one of the best fighters in the world. I guarantee it. When he got into the UFC, he was young and made some young mistakes. But I think now that kind of I'm here as a good grappler for him, nobody's really going to be taking him down and causing problems like they were because he's already such a good striker that he's a problem for everybody.
Have you noticed big improvements in his takedown defense?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Takedown defense. He can get up. Like when I first got here, like I could hold him down really no problem, and now he makes me work, he makes me work hard. So yeah, he's making big improvements. I'm making big improvements. And that's kind of just the synergy we get. We train every day. We get to talk shit to each other, literally all practice long. So we're ready for the press conferences as well.
Yeah, especially nowadays, man. Like with all of the trash talk that's going on, and people are talking about either your wives, your families. What is your stance on that? Is there a line that needs to be drawn when it comes to trash talking?
Yeah, there's definitely a line. I wouldn't be talking about someone's family, or anything like that because, I'm the type of person I'll show up at your house if you got a problem like that. So that's how it is to me. And you don't want no personal beef with crazy people, and I'm kind of crazy. So
Fair enough. Noted. So if any future opponents are watching this interview, steer clear of the family with Mr. Dulgarian. That's a
that's
bad
it. You
idea.
can you can say whatever you want about me. It's not gonna hurt my feelings.
Right.
But you go talking about my mom's or my grandpa or my lady, my kid. That's a whole different problem.
Yeah, I'm with that 100%. March the 16th, UFC Vegas 88, back at the Apex. Christian Rodriguez. Have you fought anyone like him before? Is this your toughest opponent to date?
I think in some ways, yeah. I mean, I think Francis was a better wrestler, I guess I could say, but Christian is very good everywhere. There's not really a hole in his game, really. He's solid everywhere. So I think that's the biggest difference there. Francis was a decent boxer, but his timing and rhythm was real predictable. And Christian, he's able to switch styles and he's able to grapple on the ground. He's able to strike. He's able to use jujitsu. So I think it's going to be an exciting one.
His lone loss was to JSP at 145. His wins have been at bantamweight. Is this a case where you're just going to be the bigger, stronger fighter? Is that going to be the difference here, or do you feel like you guys come fight night will be roughly the same size?
I think we'll be the same size, man. Where I think we're literally the same height and have about the same reach. So I think we'll be about the same size in there. I think it's going to come down to skill, and I think my skill is going to trump his. He's been training MMA though for a long time. He's been in the sport since I think he was like 14 years old or something. So he has a lot of experience. So that's going to be one thing that I'm going to have to battle with is the experience. But the good thing is I'm out here at Factory. I get a lot of experience daily with guys that have much more experience than him. So no problem there. I think that my striking's better. I think I'm better on the ground. I think he's really good at slowing the fights down though, and he's calm at all times. So whether you're beating the shit out of him or it's a 50-50 fight, he's always calm.
What was your opinion on his win over Raul Rosas Jr.?
My opinion on that is, I mean, Raul is a decent wrestler, but he's not my level at all, at all, not even close. He's 18. So, I mean, when I was 18, I think I wouldn't have a problem with Raul. So I got 9 more years on that on top of it and college wrestling experience. So I've been in there with thousands of bodies grappling. I've felt the biggest guys, the strongest guys, fastest, most athletic. I felt everything. So there'll be no surprises in the grappling. Um, in my opinion, Christian's got to hit a home run, but I guess we'll find out March 16th.
Do you anticipate this fight, going into late in the second or third round, or do you think that maybe you're going to get him out of there early?
I definitely have the ability to get him out early. It all depends on how I show up. That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing for me is if I show up the A+ fighter that I can be, I think most fights in this division are easy. But if I don't perform, if I make mistakes, if I can't find my range, that's where a problem comes in. And that's something that we've been working on a lot out here at Factory X, fixing. And we saw a big change in my Francis fight, just the way I was moving. And since then, I've made tons of gains as well. So I think we'll see a new fighter from me on March 16th.
Your MO, Isaac, is finishing fights early. Will you be disappointed if you don't?
I won't be disappointed because I don't think Christian's a slouch at all. I mean, he beat up Rosas, he beat up Saman, he dragged JSP into a 3-round dogfight. So I wouldn't be disappointed, but I just know I have the ability to get him out of there. It's just everything's got to go right.
Mhm.
Um, but it is what it is. I'm ready for 3 rounds. I've been training for 3 rounds. It wouldn't be a surprise if we went 3 rounds, but I'm looking to get him out of there if I can, and hopefully win a 50K bonus.
Yeah, no doubt. I know you said that in your post-fight interview with DC. Are you still in the it's the RV, right?
Yeah, I'm still in the RV. It's parked right outside the gym. I'm
All right.
parked at the gym. I live here.
Some of those RVs though, those are like, premium living. You have everything you need there, I imagine.
Yeah, I got a shower, bathroom. I mean, my toilet broke. I got to get some money to fix that. Uh, but and I got to wait till it's not cold outside. But it's pretty nice. I mean, it's not like the top of the line. You know, it's a Fleetwood Bounder. It's like the entry level, but it's big. It's 38 foot, 3 slide outs. So yeah, it's a good size. I got a queen size bed in there, and yeah, kitchen, everything I could possibly need. So it works for sure.
Well, hopefully you do get that 50K bonus so you can buy a house or whatever it is that you're hoping to do here moving forward. Isaac, we can't wait to see you back in there, man. It's a pleasure interviewing you here for the first time. Before we do sign off, I want to give you the floor. If there's anything you want to plug, anyone you want to thank, floor is yours.
Yeah, man. Just follow me on Instagram. That's the platform I use most. It's just Isaac_Dulgarian. Tap in with me there. Sponsors wise, I want to give a shout out to Burn Factory Podcast. Those guys do wonders for me. They help me out so much. Um, Randy Kerno, Buick, Chevy back in Kansas City. Those guys work on my cars a ton. Matt Rogers Books. This guy's a #1 bestseller out of Australia. Sold over 1 million copies of his book, Be Somebody. I'll be posting about that pretty soon. He's a great sponsor. He's been working with me since before the UFC. And then My Fit Foods as well. They've been sponsoring my meals for this camp. Uh, and they're amazing. Actually, they don't put any preservatives or any BS in the food. It's real raw organic food. So I love that place.